I find this interesting in many ways, and let's start with just this list. This would be what's called Unix, or the basic source code, or the kernel. All right, the kernel sits within the shell. Okay, okay, the kernel is the main deal. Right, that's the thing that makes all the other things happen. The other things are processes of the main thing. Okay. If you notice over time, time being indicated on your left in years going upwards to this ends 2011, which is fine because you'll see that there was always higher source code in what's called the closed source of what they claim is open source. Understand, you've never been given the real deal. You're always given a clone of the real deal, which will never give you the key, because otherwise you would be able to insert your own, choose your own adventure, which is all this thing is doing now, which is why all these stories you see are hoaxes, down to natural so-called events where they are using areas that are deconstruction zones, and they are convincing otherwise sane people that natural disasters happen. Nobody questions the amount of people that would have been displaced had it been real. Nobody questions the amount of refugees there would be, because they just disappear into the woodwork and everybody assumes they were taken care of. You're all living a fairy tale and you should all be ashamed of yourself. Going back to the early uses of programming, you'll look back to Bell Labs, and this is a company that you'll find very interesting in many ways as well. This is the one that caught my eye right away. Discovery of a radio emission of extraterrestrial origin, right, in 1932. That's something that you don't hear about every day, right? Yet it's listed here as common knowledge. In fact, it was even played by the Philadelphia Orchestra, right? So then they look into ways of control. And even though if you read this can be argued very easily that it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, that is because everything is hidden in plain sight. This is in fact, if you know numbers, you will see this as a direct indication of how to tune into a perfect number of 10, or perfection, which they cannot get. But this is their goal for anybody who's paying attention. This will equal your 15. Here's your 10. That's your 911. And you'll see that it's a constant tuning, finding the tune, the missing notes. Okay. So back to the shell. The shell is your graphical interface. This is what you see as a person. The shell encapsulates the kernels. Now, kernels are going to the most basic. This would be the brain. This is what tells the computer devices how to be used in order to execute the application. Okay, and then do any type of functionality required by that application, and then render your final product. But it's got to go through the kernel. This is a complete and total gateway. To bring this into more use that you can kind of use in your head, this is basically an open source system to where you see that everything's within the kernel mode, to where the operator would have access to all of these sub-functions, which can basically break your computer, all right, with the exception of the hardware, right? When you move over to a microkernel or a hybrid kernel, you'll see that your indication of user mode changes, which is a direct indication of how, what they will say is how user friendly it is. All this means is they take more from you as far as what you can access, which just doesn't allow you to break things, which of course keeps computers running longer, which makes it of course, seem like it's more stable. It's just that you didn't have access to certain things you did before. And that's just how they do that. Okay? That's all that is. Now we talked about going through the shell and then within the kernel. So the kernel is processing or allowing processes to happen. Processes, or otherwise known as daemons. We'll go ahead and read this because I like how they make everything sound so easy. In a Unix environment, the parent process of a daemon is often, but not always, an init process. A daemon is usually created by a process forking a child process and then immediately exiting. It sounds like they're forking a little kid and then running out the back door, thus causing init to adopt the child process. It's like, all right, we just jabbed the kid with a fork, ran out, leave you with them. Now you're stuck with it. That's all whenever you believe. In fact, we need to talk about that further. If you do not disbelieve the lie completely, they will. Hold on. As you can see, I'm not going to be on the how to win friends and influence people tours because I don't allow not even for 1 millisecond to be plugged into the fake machine like you scumbag liars do. So I've tried to reduce it down to the most basic, and unfortunately it's going to be the most crude illustration only because your higher level brain functions are inoperable. You don't understand what I'm saying in the most simplest terms at higher level thinking. So I'm going to reduce it down to a level that Harry and Hermione and you perverted little Dumbledore, real life Dumbledore over there in England, 1611. Even people like you, even you perverted little weasels, can understand what I'm about to show you. Okay? Alright? So you little wizards, you're in front of your little Saturn box and you plug in every single day into the matrix by your own choice. And then this thing hooks you. And as soon as you believe that one hook, and let me explain this to you, as soon as you believe one single bit of the story, which allows you to keep going back to it to try and figure out is it real, which means, okay, if you looked at the story and you said, okay, that's fake, and you walked away from it, you're not hooked. Or you keep going back to it to keep proving to yourself it isn't real because somebody convinced you that it is real, so you allowed yourself to get hooked. And then this thing will hook you again, and hook you again, and hook you again, and hook you again, until pretty soon you don't know how to pull your thing out of here. Alright? And that all goes back to this centerline control point to get to the closest they can to control you within the positive, negative, right, left, red, blue, love, law system. And it's out of tune now, like I've been telling you, which is why all the stories are so blatantly out of tune with what is reality, what most people remember as reality. Okay? So anyways, that's a little bit more into this, and we'll go into it later. But I'm going to be going to go take some more fat old tokes. Alright, man, mates. God bless you all, and to all the good men. Oh, Tiny Tim, Mom's made the nicest pudding this year.
On the left side, you're going to see the broken system keyboard, which you're used to, the C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Note that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be what I'm proposing as being the true notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, I'll add in some more parts to make this standard looking keyboard. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and mirror these. I'm going to add numbers to them so that you can see what I'm about to talk about. So then if I take these and I put them in mirror and opposite, it's going to be a certain design, right? So then if I face them both forward, there should be a simplicity of design. If it's music, it should make sense. There should be symmetry, or it will be absolute chaos. So then let's see then. I propose that this system that runs the reality that everyone exists in is chaos and is the fallen system. This would be closer to creation. This is just my idea. I don't want to, put 100% on that. This is just for discussion's sake. All right, so just so that we you don't get too carried away. I just want that as an idea, and I think that I can visually show you the proof that I have for this understanding. And then once you see this, maybe that'll help move the idea forward on what I'm talking about when I hit these certain notes. If I hit a certain note, a certain number combination in a fallen system, you're going to see that the chaos that ensues is going to be complete. You will see that in this system, that any note played goes into one, then comes out as the same. All right, let's go through and show you. I'm going to use red for A, and then we're going to flip it to the opposite end. Ready? The same for the G and the A. We're going to keep going. We're going to go blue for B, green for C, yellow for D, green for E, red for F. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to change this one color. I want to change this one color. Hold on. Okay, I went and corrected that. You'll just see I just switched the red and the blue on this side. So we have the red, blue, green, yellow, green, blue, red. Okay? Connects to the single point, then goes out. All right, let's try this one. All right? We'll go using the same thing. So we'll start with A, though. A will be red. Alright, let's do that. A will be red all the way to its opposite end, boom. Alright, B will be blue to its opposite end. Alright, blue. C will be green. C will be green. D, which will be D. Over E, right, is green. Where somehow I screwed something up, didn't I? Hold on. Back up. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Yellow again, back to yellow. D is yellow. Back over to here. Let's go back. Now, what was I at? We're at E. Are we at E yet? E is green. Alright. F. We're at F. The F ring. Remember the F ring of Saturn, which has Prometheus and Pandora as the demon spirits in charge. So that's where you get Pandora's box opening, giving you everything you want and desire. And red for G. And Prometheus being the trickster, the hoaxer, which is why everything's a hoax and a trick in the news. All right. I guess this is done. Okay, so you now see two different designs visually. You see that this is symmetrical and this is not symmetrical. You see that this is crooked. All right, let me keep going. So what I'm going to do is take the color pattern produced, invert it and flip it and show you the result. So then what you would do is then take the result times, forever, because this is how everything is chimes. Ching, ching, ching. All right, let's keep going.